I'm doing my project on Stargate SG-1, which is a 10-season science fiction TV show. And it's not the most popular science fiction TV show. It didn't get a lot of press, despite having like an average of 10 million people watching it per episode when the episodes aired. But it didn't get the hype that it like Star Trek did and Battlestar Galactica and other science fiction shows. Of course, Star Trek didn't get as much hype until years after it aired. So the producers hope that same thing will happen to Stargate SG-1. Now, because it wasn't so popular, it didn't have a big cultural impact. You can ask most people what they think about Stargate SG-1, and they'll probably look at you and be like, what in the world is that? I know I get that quite a lot. It's my favorite TV show. It was mainly targeted towards, I'm pretty sure, adults who are big fans of science fiction. I was probably one of the few kids who would actually watch it. The TV show was based off of a movie called Stargate, which I think is a fairly good movie. But again, it's not the most popular science fiction movie. You know, it was created by the same person who created Independence Day, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm concentrating on the last, I guess you can say, main bad guy of the series, which is the Ori. The previous bad guy was called the Goa'uld. But to have a little bit of background on that, Stargate SG-1 traveled to different planets using this device called a Stargate, which is a big ring which formed a stable wormhole that kind of zipped everybody to a different planet. Now, the Stargate was created by this race called the Alterans. At least it was called the Alterans in their day. The humans on Earth in the series called them the Ancients because they're believed to be the first evolution of humans, which later discovered they weren't. They came from a different galaxy. So, in Alteran history, we have the group of Alterans, and there was a conflict within the culture, and they split up into two groups. The ones that became known as the Ancients, who focused mainly on science and using science to achieve ascension, which is going to a higher plane of existence, which mainly being able to shed your physical body and becoming pure energy. Now, they use science to get towards that along with meditation and other things, being able to clear one's mind. And on the path to ascension, it's pretty much kind of like evolution. You're changed a bit. Like, you start being able to gain these certain abilities, like being able to heal somebody, or being able to make things move with your mind. And it's pretty much viewed as the highest form of evolution that you can get to. Now, the Ori decided not to use science to reach that end, but to use religion. And they went along that path. But when they ascended, they discovered that if you have people worshiping them, they gained more power. So they started to interact with people in the lower planes, humans, us, to convince them to worship them as gods. They even wrote this book called the Book of Origin, which, when you look at it, kind of reminds me of the Bible a little bit, to try to convince people to worship them so they can worship them. And at the end, promise ascension when you die, which is, I guess, kind of going to heaven. Now, this didn't really go really well in my eyes, because the Ori didn't like people not worshiping them. They thought if somebody didn't worship them, it was taking away their power, because they kind of put off a percentage thing. If you have 100% of people worshiping you, you get all the power. But if you only have like 50% of people worshiping you, it's not full capacity. So they decided, if you're not worshiping us, you're pretty much going to die. They'll kill you off completely. So the Ori would go to different planets using these people called the Priors. And the Priors are kind of like, I guess you can say, preachers, spreading the good word. They'll have their nice little Book of Origin, tell you all about the good things in it, promise ascension to those who follow the book in the past. Now, if the civilization still doesn't like Origin, then they go to the next step, which is the Ori spread a plague among the citizens, and this is a fatal plague. People will die, and the Priors would go among the people and heal them, and it would look like a miracle because nothing else would work. And this would help convince the people to worship them as gods. Like, you saved us. It showed that Origin is the way, and everything else. Like proof of God. However, this also doesn't always work. And if there are any survivors of this plague, which a lot of times they get all wiped out before that even happens, the Ori will just destroy everything. Just, boop, bye. Now, they thought it was a little bit too slow trying to convert the whole galaxy this way. So eventually, they started sending warships. And they started a full-out war in the galaxy, destroying every single person who didn't accept Origin. Bombs, anything they could do to just get rid of everyone. Now, Earth has a bit more defenses. Definitely since the ancient main settlement was on Earth and left behind things that could help defend Earth. So the Ori had trouble even getting Priors there, and once the Priors were there, getting them to the main populace, which I don't think actually ever happened. So they started making their way slowly towards Earth. And that was their main goal, to either destroy Earth or convert everybody on Earth, because that's the most populated planet in the galaxy. Everybody else was spread out on different planets. So, luckily, SG-1, which is a team from Earth, was able to stop them before them, I guess you can say, destroying the world. And they did this by using the Ark of Truth. Oh, take that back. They did this by, first off, sending a device to the Ori galaxy that pretty much wiped out all ascended beings. So, no more Ori, at least in the ascended plane. Of course, that didn't stop their worshippers. So, to stop them, they end up going toward getting this device called the Ark of Truth, which is a device that the person, one of the Alterans that was on the ancient side, created that pretty much showed the way of the whole galaxy and the truth about everything. They got a hold of this and was able to get it to the leader of Ori, kind of like their pope. And being able to activate it in front of him so that it filled him with everything. Truth about Ori, the truth about everything. And by having him exposed to this, it exposed all the priors to what happened and the truth. And pretty much stopped the war and saved not just the Earth, but the whole galaxy. So, Doomsday diverted for the most part. And it doesn't look like anything else came up because that was the last season and closing movie of the series. So, it's a very good series. You should definitely look into it. And unfortunately, since it's not very popular, people it did not have this great cultural impact. But I will say, the fandom is very, very loyal. So if you ever come across somebody who's a humongous fan, they'll talk your ear off about it. And this was only a small chunk of it. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Bye.